They tried to put this show together, but they're stuck in a hole, and they can't dig out of it. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite. So, how are they going to follow up AEW Revolution, particularly that bullshit ending to the exploding barbed wire death match, where the way they tried to explain it immediately afterwards did not help at all. It did nobody any goddamn favors, and then they were trying to pick up the pieces, with a couple promo segments, one that sort of worked and one that didn't. I wonder if you can guess which one I didn't like. I want to root for AEW to succeed, and I hope that they can somehow salvage this. I don't think they can, because you can make a bunch of small mistakes, but you can make very few big ones, because every wrestling company makes small mistakes. That's how you learn. But when you make big mistakes, especially when you have only been in existence for just under 2 years, I mean, they got to get to Double or Nothing in May to be in existence for a full 2 years. They got to get to October to be in a full existence of 2 years on television. I get it. Not every show is going to be perfect. Not every pay-per-view is going to be perfect. But God damn it, the cracks in the foundation are growing and getting deeper. And they're not going to be able to build anything because the foundation is going to crack and crumble just like it did in WCW, only at a more accelerated rate. I don't want that to be the case, but it's starting to look that way. And I just can't... I can't, turn a blind eye to some of the shit that AEW is doing, no matter whether the talents are trying or not. So we start off with Matt Jackson with Nick versus Phoenix with Pac after Phoenix had earned the tag title shot by winning the Casino Battle Royal at AEW Revolution, which was a mess, but hey, Phoenix and Pac winning, I'm okay with that. It was video game flippy shit, 100 miles an hour for a bit, and then they tried to do some psychology. Clearly, Matt and Phoenix were hurting from the respective matches they had at Revolution. Especially Matt. He actually seemed to be favoring his back quite a bit. I do remember when the Canadian Destroyer actually meant something, and that move and the super kick mean absolutely nothing anymore. I'm not saying they don't hurt, but they don't register because everybody's doing them, and they'll do them off the ropes, or they'll do, super kick parties, all that. It doesn't mean anything anymore. And so anything that can be impactful doesn't register. We did get dueling super kicks where it looked like they actually both might have broke their lower leg, bone their lower legs the way they did them. That actually looked kind of painful. But then we get, suddenly Phoenix hitting some spike driver out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Phoenix gained the victory. Actually kind of makes sense because then you can build up, hey, could Phoenix and Pac win when it counts? It wasn't that it was a bad match. It's just like a lot of Bucks matches, whether it's a single or a tag or a multi-man or whatever. It's hit and miss to me. It's not for me, but I get why some people might like it. And then we get Mox and Eddie. They're trying to dig themselves out of this, and it's not even Mox and Eddie's fault. Mox made fun of it, with the promo right after the match was done. And I will say this. Eddie Kingston came across as very real. He referenced the time he was in prison and how, he had panic attacks and everything and stuff like that because being in prison. You wouldn't want to be in prison. And he blanked out. He did this. He explained why he reacted the way he did. I will say this is the best way they could try to turn chicken shit into chicken salad. Now, they didn't quite succeed because nobody is that goddamn good, but Eddie is a tremendous promo. So is Mox. Apparently, they're back together. Okay, it is what it is. They blamed Impact for the, the building of the bomb and everything. So, okay, great. Let's just heap everything on Impact. I mean, to be fair, they did have a shooting and a wedding angle, so why the hell wouldn't you do that? I know it was a couple months ago, but still. He did get a drinking buddy back, Mox said. And then they argued like a married couple. And I like Mox. I like Eddie. I'm just worried that this is... It's just weird, though, because Eddie was, great promo. Then he feuded with Mox. And then he was still with the Butcher and the Blade. Then he was, getting Phoenix and Penta to split up. And then they were back together. And now Death Triangle and all this. And Eddie's been very oddly booked. Now, he still can kill it on promos. And he can kill it with his in-ring work because he works different. But this was messy. Now, this wasn't bad. This was the best way they could do it. But they didn't quite dig themselves out of it. And even if they did, even if they barely broke the surface, the next promo segment that tried to explain more of it just put everybody back into the goddamn Earth's core. So Cody has his ego-stroking entrance. He did do a nice gesture, handing, his belt to a fan, and that was cool. That was cool. All right, that was cool. I will admit that. Then he beats a guy named Seth Gargas, who is an impressive guy physically. let's see what he can do. Maybe AEW Dark Elevation as time goes on. Figure 4 for the win. Okay, it was pretty quick. I mean, Cody beat him pretty easily. Shivani asks Cody about his shoulder, and then Penta interrupts. He has his interpreter. I don't remember what the guy's name is, but he's done interviews before. And he says, well, if you're the Prince of Pro Wrestling, he is the Lord of Lucha Libre. Prince outranks a Lord. I don't know if you understand how royalty works. Evidently, Piers Morgan didn't, because he ran away like a little bitch, because Piers Morgan is a little bitch. But anyway, he says, it's a good thing that it wasn't just you and me, or I would have broke your arm and you wouldn't have been able to pick up your newborn baby girl. And that was enough. Cody had had enough. And they try to have a pull apart, and they cut away pretty quickly. And they're going to have a match next week. They're not even going to promo this for a while and build it up. Nope, they're just, boom, going to have a match next week. They move some stuff, they, nurse along for a while, and they do a pretty good job with it. And then other stuff, they instantly move quickly. And then they blow it off, and then nobody really gives a shit. It's one way or the other, and you can't nurse something along forever. Otherwise, people lose interest. And this goes for any wrestling company. Long-term storytelling can work for only so long. But they literally just did this and, okay, we're just going to do this. Bit odd. So we then get Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy in an arcade, area. Some arcade area. I don't know. They have one of those in Daly's Place. Serious question. I'm actually asking legit. They want one more match. If we lose, I'll be your butler forever. And how about we take these arcade consoles and put them around the ring? Great, it's going to be like Double Dragon. Remember what they did with Double Dragon? Remember when they bashed the Double Dragon set in that movie, Double Dragon? Where Robert Patrick was really having to try hard to overact. And he was like a Paper Mario character before Paper Mario was ever thought of. They're going to abuse video games like that, aren't they? Oh, and then we break you, Orange Cassidy says. Why is this feud still going? Genuine question. Why is this feud still going? Like, this feud wasn't good to begin with. Trent got hurt. It got somehow, less interesting when it wasn't that interesting to begin with. And they're continuing it. Then Sting's talking about Darby. Darby's a dangerous man and talking about all this. And he barely gets any more words up before Archer and Jake Roberts interrupt him. Jake Roberts and Sting staring down. My God, it's Halloween Havoc 1992. Please don't reference that again. I can never reference that again. Coal Miner's glove match. Dear God, it was so terrible. When your snake turns on you, you know you made some bad life choices. So, I'm going to take this time. Archer's like, oh, I didn't need a ladder. I could just do this. And he's teasing, facing Sting. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me have your time. It was very awkward because Archer is well-spoken. He's intimidating. And he's going to destroy Sting. I don't really understand what else they could do with Sting here. They kind of blew their load with the street fight and stuff like that. We know he can take bumps, but we know he can't take that much. Him beating Archer would be ridiculous. It would be somehow worse than him beating Matt Morgan. I believe it's Slammiversary 2009. Remember that? Remember how Matt Morgan deserved a big push and impact, and they kept failing time after time? Anyway, we cut to QT and Lee Johnson. And then audio from the NBA game. Just the NBA. TNT, somebody fell asleep at the switchboard or something like that. Or they hit a button. Oh, I dropped it. I don't know what I did. Help. Help. Send help. 100 HELP. Anyway, so this was ridiculous. Ridiculous. All the audio. I mean, they were getting... You could hear the announcers a little bit. You could hear, stuff happening. But it's like, defense. Defense. I don't know what game it was. I haven't watched the NBA in a while. But... Then Ethan Page versus Lee Johnson. We kept hearing defense and other stuff throughout the entire game, or throughout the entire match, that is. Ethan is the heel, which kind of fits, for how he looks. And QT was just kind of just there. He doesn't really try to encourage Lee Johnson. Lee's knee got hurt. We get Ego's Edge, 1, 2, 3. And that's it right there. And then QT didn't help. He left, and Dustin's like, what the hell's going on with you? What's going on here? And then the audio finally got fixed at the end of this. We then had Paige, who's spending Matt Hardy's first quarterly earnings of 2021 on a giant lawnmower because, the riding lawnmower, because why the hell not reference, a gimmick that wasn't all that good to begin with. And he bought whiskey and he gave a bunch of money to the Board of Education in Jacksonville. Okay, nice thing. And then the Dark Order joins him and they ride to get ice cream, except for Allen 5 Angels. Look, I just don't like the Dark Order gimmick. I get why they're still doing it. It's fine, but this isn't helping Paige. This isn't. I'm sorry. It's not. Is it dragging Page down? I don't know how you can drag Page down anymore, and he's already been drugged. I just don't care about this. Shivani is interrupted by the Sweeper Girls. Okay, cool. Then Omega in a shirt that a blind man wouldn't have been caught dead in. Seriously, who does his shopping? If he does his own shopping, then evidently he doesn't know what good clothes are. Now, granted, I just wear graphic tees and wrestling shirts, but I'm also not on nationwide television, worldwide television, stuff where I'm the greatest wrestling artist in the goddamn world, which Omega isn't. Omega ain't even top 50 in my opinion, but that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. If you guys like Omega, fantastic. So, Don Callis is also here, also the Good Brothers, home of the Good Brothers. Maybe we take your order. Reminder that Don Callis is one of the worst gimmicks in wrestling in the last 20 years. Because he's doing the same thing he did as the Jackal and as, Cyrus, the network executive in ECW. You don't evolve a gimmick, the invisible hand. I wish he was the invisible gimmick. I wish we never saw or heard from him. This isn't doing anything. And then they try to address the end of Revolution. We take away, yes, Callis, you take away interest and you take away my willingness to root for AEW to succeed. You goddamn stupid son of a bitch. Why are you here? And maybe he should concentrate on some of the stuff that allegedly happened in Impact that may lead to him getting in a lot of trouble. And if you know, you know. Because you go down the rabbit hole, Callis may not be the best person. So Omega is one of the worst promos in wrestling. He really is. Like, I understand he's trying to heel, but he's trying to play a heel, and it's not working. Here's Eddie Kingston to hopefully salvage this. Well, he tries. Callis tries to take credit for Eddie in Impact. But, you screwed it up like you always do. You couldn't grab the brass ring. Here's a 10-second clock. They're counting down everything, and, oh no, the explosion. Kenny Omega actually says the line 69 me, Dawn. And it was at this point I said, you know what? AEW does not deserve the benefit of the doubt anymore. They are basically, bargain basement TNA when Russo was booking. And they are also, bargain basement WCW when Russo was booking. I'm starting to wonder if they secretly hired Vince Russo. Omega and Dawn basically just took a shit on this company. They basically did. I understand trying to have fun. I understand trying to goof around and everything, but it's like this was making everything into comedy bullshit. Here's Moxley, by the way, and him and Kingston pair up with the Good Brothers. Again, home of the Good Brothers. Maybe we take your order, and they vanish. They seemingly just vanish into thin air. I know that Daly's place is kind of big, but they're just gone. Here's Christian Cage, and he gets all the smoke and stuff like that, and he eventually walks out, and he confronts Omega. Omega tries to shake his hand. He tries to hit the kill switch, or whatever the fuck they're calling it here, and Callis pulls him away. Okay, this segment did absolutely nothing for anybody, except make me wish that nobody had ever given Omega any time on, promos. And it also made me wish that Don Callis was never, allowed to be in professional wrestling. This was an embarrassment. This was an embarrassment no matter what company it is. And then we get Britt, Nyla, and Maki Ito with Reba and Vicky, because Vicky Guerrero is absolutely needed in a wrestling company in 2021, versus Thunder Rosa, Hikaru Shida, and Ryo Mizunami. Maki decides to sing through about the first 2 minutes of this match while the faces rush the ring and beat up 2 of the heels. It was entertaining, but I'm just like, okay, Maki's just, why is she, it's entertaining. I won't say that it wasn't. It was so bonkers. At least this, it seemed like people were having some fun. The match wasn't that good, and I hate to say it because I actually, think all these women have at least, I like Shida. I think Maki Ito's a really good character. Wrestler, she's okay. She's not bad, but she's a good, entertaining character. Thunder Rosa's the best worker there. Hikaru Shida's very good. Britt has improved. Nyla is really good. Ryo Mizunami, I don't think is all that bad. But this was a mess. It was a car crash. It was trying to, get a whole bunch of feuds wrapped into one thing. Thunder Rosa ends up hitting a tornado outside. And then Rosa Driver pins Maki Ito 1-2-3. This was after Reba tried to hit her with the crutch. That didn't work. Britt hits Rosa with Reba's crutch and then the lockjaw. Reba tries to put the crutch over Thunder Rosa's head, almost crowning her. Vicky's trying to slap her, but is just slapping her in the ass. I don't know what this is supposed to do, except it is going to lead to Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa a little bit later. Well, next week. Matt and Private Party. Adam Page is like a bizarro Robin Hood, but I have safes all over the goddamn world, and this gimmick for Matt is shit. He also hired the Butcher, the Baker, and the Bunny. The Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. Okay, cool, whatever. We're going to take out the Dark Order. You need to hire these guys to take out the Dark Order. Why do I care about this feud? Scorpio Sky versus Darby Allin, TNT title match, referee Aubrey. brass ring mentioned, because you had to grab the brass ring. We get it. Some of you guys hate Vince, Cody, and we get it. You got to grab the brass ring, so you got to grab the brass Nuva ring and everything. And god damn it, just so stupid. Just focus on what you're goddamn doing. Anyway, it was well wrestled. It was very well wrestled. Scorpio's very good. Darby's very good. I've seen Darby numerous times at indie shows. Scorpio's also very good. Super nice guy. Darby's also a super nice guy. Sky was a bit more heelish. Darby had an injured leg, but Darby was able to get the victory. Even after 3 Germans, he got an inside cradle, 1, 2, 3. Oh no, Darby won, and Scorpio Sky's upset. Goes for a bit of a, it's like, Darby's like, hey, really good job, and then Scorpio thinks that's an insult. He locks on a heel hook, and he's like looking at his hands like, oh no, what did I do? Oh, I know exactly what I did. Aha, I'm gonna go heel. And you know what? That's okay. That's all right. I don't mind that. Scorpio Sky, as long as this leads to something important, and him winning the championship, or him maybe getting a tag team partner and winning, and maybe winning the tag team championships down the road, as long as you do something good with Scorpio Sky, I'm all for it. I think he can pull off being a heel. Next week, St. Patrick's Day Slam. Mox and Kingston versus the Good Brothers, the Impact Tag Team Champions, which used to mean something when Impact used to mean something. Cody versus Penta, Jurassic Express and Bear Country versus Private Party, Matt, and Butcher and Blade. Please pin that stupid midget after one move. He doesn't deserve to be in a wrestling ring. Jade Cargill's in action. I always say Cargill. She's in action. Cool. And then Britt versus Thunder Rosa. Unsanctioned, lights out, anything goes match in the main event. If the women are going to be in the main event, they give them some time. I'm all for it. They had a good match at Beach Break. Anyway, I could actually see this working out pretty well. And then the Inner Circle War Council. Basically, this boils down to Jericho saying, we need to add a new member. MJF's like, no, we don't need to add a new member. We need to get rid of people. And then here's Sammy. Just listen to me. See this. He films the fact that MJF was saying to the guys, hey, saying to Santana Ortiz and Hager, hey, you guys need to come and, join me. We need to cut the head off the snake. And get him. Oh, they swerved the swerve, and oh no, they're going to beat up MJF, and we were waiting for you to hang yourself. Your ass is fired. We're going to beat you down, give you an Inner Circle beatdown. Which would mean something if the Inner Circle actually meant anything, but they don't. They haven't meant anything for a while. And I wasn't trying to take your Inner Circle, and he's like all crying and everything because I was too busy building my own. Lights go out for about 5 years, and then suddenly, who's in the ring? It's obviously going to be the people that we knew it was going to be because they hadn't been on the show, all show. Tully Blanchard, FTR, Wardlow, and Shawn Spears with his blonde mohawk. I don't know how he can be taken seriously with the blonde mohawk. Again, who am I to talk about somebody's hair? So that ended up happening. They, stomped to Sammy through a chair in the corner and in the spotlight, losing his religion. We get more handcuffs. We get a double pile driver. So they tried to do all this stuff with the Inner Circle and everything. And here's the thing. Powerbomb to Jericho off the stage and through a table. And oh no, here. This is what I'm doing with my notes. Here's why. I want to explain why this ending did not have the impact they thought it would. MJF, him leading his own group is not the worst thing in the world. That's fine. They've cooled off MJF to the point where now having his own group, you're going to have to heat him back up. FTR have not meant all that much either because after losing to the Bucks, they were in meaningless feuds for a while. And Shawn Spears hasn't meant shit in about a year. Wardlow is very green, but is going to, has potential. And the Inner Circle hasn't meant shit. Now, are they going to possibly build to blood and guts at some point? Maybe. Who the hell knows? Just overall, there were just so many elements to the show that could have worked, but they just kept throwing shit at the wall, and all that stuck was shit. It wasn't good ideas. It was just shit. And at some point, they're going to have to stop doing their own thing and do something for the collective good of the company. And I'm worried that they're not going to do that because the Elite and everybody else are all doing their own things and the show just doesn't feel cohesive. And it's starting to crack the foundation and it's going to crumble and it's going to be all their fault. And Tony Khan doesn't have the guts to just say, hey, we need to do something right. We need to give some creative freedom, but we need to put together a coherent show. He doesn't. And it's ridiculous, and as a wrestling fan, it pisses me off. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm Charles Retlin. I'll see you soon.